to the Social Media Manager. I'm your host, Dakota Jean, and I have with me Morgan Hrynnyk. She is the founder of Takeaway Conference, and I'm so excited to talk to you because one, I just love what you're doing, and two, I get to actually speak at this conference, so I am beyond excited. So, Morgan, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So, first off, thank you for having me and inviting me to be on your podcast. I am just so delighted that we're going to have you on the takeaway stage this year, and I'm so excited to connect in this capacity.
Me too.
So, I'm a brand strategist. My background is in marketing and brand strategy, and I've been working for a number of years with brands, whether it be retail, healthcare. Um, in education, not for profits, really to help them differentiate themselves and really articulate what it is that they do and what they're about and how they want their audience and community to perceive them. So, of course, also, I'm a business owner. So, of course, with Takeaway and leading Takeaway, this has been like again a huge project and something that is just so near and dear to my heart and something that I've been leading for the last 9 years actually. So
Wow, that is so awesome. And I mean, when you say a huge project, like no joke, because putting on a 2 day conference and all of these different moving parts and all of the different speakers. So, can you tell me like a little bit of the background with the actual conference and why did you decide to actually do this?
yeah, so it's actually interesting because it started 11 years ago, actually, the conference itself. And it was founded as a place. There was another business who was running it at the time, and they were actually, um, it was positioned as a way for entrepreneurs to go and to learn about social media marketing. The business who actually had it at the time was a networking group, and they were looking for a way to educate the folks that were within their networking group to learn more about social media marketing. It was when social media, I mean, when we think back 11 years ago, uh, everything was different at social media. So it was definitely meant to be kind of that foundational place where folks could go to learn about it. Um, in the second year of the conference, I was actually speaking at the conference, and the organizer was following the event, looking for a strategic partner, somebody who was in the space, understood social media, understood digital communications in general, and was looking more for a strategic partner to help kind of manage the subject matter expertise side of things. Um, and so, meanwhile, in that, she actually decided to sell her business. And of course, the conference was going to go part and parcel with the business. And so, at that point, my company acquired it and brought it under our banner. So, we actually, like I said, this it's unbelievable to say that it's 11 years already, but yeah. So and then we were running and operating it for the past 9 years, and in that time, we really worked hard. Again, I'm very nerdy. I can't find another word than nerdy about brand. I'm so nerdy about brand. And one of the things that we really worked hard to do was to reposition the conference as a place, not only where small business and entrepreneurs go, but really a place where all marketing and communications professionals can go to learn about social media marketing, about digital communications, about topics like SEO, those things that are all part and parcel with being digital communicators as a kind of one place to go and to learn about that. So, actually, in 2021, it's always trying to figure out which year it is at this point in
Right.
time. But 2021, we actually rebranded our conference to the Takeaway Conference, and that's where we are today.
Wow, that's so cool. So let's actually talk a little bit about that and why it's so special. I mean, it seems like the takeaway community, there's always new people coming in, but there's also this, loyal fan base. So can you talk a little bit about the
Definitely.
community?
This is one of honestly my favorite things to talk about takeaway. Um, And again, I know that I could be biased, but I'm really not in this situation. The people within our community are just exceptional human beings. Um, and there's really something different about the folks that gather around Takeaway than a lot of different professional development options that I've been a part of. And one thing that's really interesting is that everybody is so open and giving and just connected with the people around them. And we have obviously fostered that, and we do a lot to try to encourage that and make sure that those connections are there and those authentic opportunities are available for folks. But it's been a really interesting thing to see the community evolve and to grow with us, as again the conference has evolved, and now with Takeaway we're offering a number of different professional development options for digital communicators. And so one of the things that's always so heartwarming to me is that we have a number of folks that we have a program within Takeaway that invites student ambassadors to be part of the conference. So they have different roles within our different professional development options. But one thing is at the conference they're really front and center, and get to really interact with the industry and be part of the sessions, engage in the Q&As. They're really, really invested in everything. And what we'll actually see is that they'll join us as student ambassadors, and then they'll graduate from post-secondary and they'll start working in the industry. So they'll join us for a few years as uh, industry professionals, and then we'll see it come full circle, and a few years later we'll see them being applying to be speakers, and because they want to give back to the community in the way that the community gave back to them. And so it's really always been something that our speakers are so open and giving and just generous with their learnings. And that's really everything that we hook into with Takeaway, is that we're really about fostering conversations around the experiences of every individual. And so we all know that as digital communicators, there's a lot of learning on the go, and you learn on the fly, and you're figuring out yourself, and you're flat out all the time just working, trying to figure it out, and trying to stay current with whatever it is that the algorithms throw at us. But one thing that's so interesting about our group is that we come together to learn about the experiences from each other, because I know that, again, even if I think about that we're recording this podcast in Riverside right now, I was looking for a new tool to use, and I heard that you were using this one, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna give that a shot, because I heard that Dakota records her podcast in Riverside, so it's like, I'll give
Yeah.
that a shot. And that's really what Takeaway is all about. It's about like learning from each other's experiences, so that sometimes it's nice to not have to do all the heavy lifting on your own, and you
Mhm.
can lean on your fellow digital communicators, which sometimes, admittedly, digital can be a little bit isolating, because we're, again, just so busy with all of the work that's what's doing behind our screens. So it's a really collaborative environment, and something that's really, really great for folks to connect with each other. One of the things that I'm always so proud about to share about the community is that our annual attendance, we actually have about 30 to 50% of individuals that attend every year that have actually attended a previous Takeaway conference. So
Wow.
it's, to me, the reason that that's so special is that it just reinforces that our community is continuing to grow with us, but they also continue to find value in the programming, and really about finding something at the conference that'll really appeal to them, and where they're at their career. So always like to share that, just because, like I said, it's my favorite stat to share about Takeaway, just because I think that it really reinforces, just again, why would people come back if they if they weren't excited about it, and if they weren't learning things. So it always just makes me really proud.
That is so cool. That also just means that you're continuing to be innovative and find speakers that are talking about relevant ideas, that we can all learn from. I learn so much just from like the guests on this podcast, or even through Amanda Wagner we met on Instagram. Like, it's just so cool that we can utilize these tools like social media, to really like network, and not only just network, but build upon each other's experiences. Um, so, why is
Yeah.
it, do you think, so important, I guess, for digital communicators um, to attend a conference like Takeaway.
I mean, from our perspective, it's really about stepping back from the day to day.
Mm,
Um, Again, when we talk about how flat out we all are with, again, it doesn't matter what the subject matter expert is in the digital space. Everybody is going at Mach speed all of the time. And so what we have found is that when you can step back from your work and really submerge yourself in just that growth and that advancement and learning new tools or trying something different because you heard about a new tool from somebody or a new way of doing something or a new strategy somebody tried. So when you can take a time to just step back from it and look at things a little bit more objectively, it re-inspires you in a new way that you can do better work because you're re-energized by something. And we always talk about um, we do like information briefs with each of the speakers before the conference and just to get to know them and learn a little bit more about their session and all of that. And you can just tell from the other side of the screen, even now doing these virtually, just when people radiate that energy that they're just so excited about what they're talking about,
yeah.
and they just light up when they get the chance to talk about it. And so one of the biggest things is that we're always trying to everything with takeaway isn't incredibly practical and tactical. It's about learning the tools and learning different ways to do your work so that you can just, when you sit back down at your computer and you pick up your phone again, you have some new tools in your toolbox. But it also is to re inspire everybody and get everybody really excited about the work that we're doing, and to try something new and do something completely off the cuff. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when we spoke, I was just like, okay, sign me up. I'm stoked. It's just like
Yes.
such a cool, there, of course, there are tons of marketing conferences, right? But there was something
Yeah.
special about this one. And I think it's not only your passion, like you can really feel your passion behind this, and I think that is what drew me into speaking. But it really is, I can tell, I can't wait because I know it's going to be such a special experience. But I guess too, on that
I
note,
can't wait either.
oh my gosh, yes. What who are some of the speakers that you're excited about, or that you have that you can talk about, and what are they going to talk about?
Yeah. So it's always, I feel like I'm not allowed to pick favorites at
Yes, of
this
course.
point because they're all so great. Um, so I'm not gonna go over any favorites of mine, but I will touch on some of the topics that I'm particularly excited about. So one of the things that is, again, such a natural progression to this is I'm really excited. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to re-say this sentence.
Okay,
Sorry about
perfect.
that.
No worries.
Um, so one of the topics that I'm incredibly excited about is your counterpart, keynote speaker Kevin Durr is actually going to be joining us and talking about experimentation. And it's interesting because in an industry that is so, um, in some ways, prescriptive in terms
Mhm.
of the algorithm likes this, therefore we do that, his session is really going to talk about an experimentation mindset and how every organization can adopt an experimentation mindset, regardless of what size of organization they are. So he comes from a background of working within organizations and currently works with a post secondary, but is really going to bring the perspective of it doesn't matter if you're a shop of one or you're on a corporate team of 20 individuals. Or in a not for profit that doesn't have a big budget to really play around with your marketing, there are ways that we can all adopt this experimentation process and how we do things and just try stuff. So I think that that is going to be just absolutely. I think it's going to be really great for our attendees to hear about that.
Oh yeah.
Um, we also have a number of speakers actually Oh, sorry, Dakota.
Oh, no. No, 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 go ahead.
We also have a number of sorry, we're getting that little time delay that like
Yeah.
um so we also have a number of speakers that are actually how I spoke about the takeaway student ambassador program. We have a number of speakers on our roster this year that actually started as student ambassadors like a number of years ago and have, like I said, attended as attendees and are coming back as speakers, which I'm really excited about. And some of the topics that we're covering this year as well is one thing that we try to do within the programming is that, again, the whole thing with takeaway is that you take what works for you and you leave what doesn't. So we always want to make sure that folks really have a good options in terms of the sessions that they can choose to attend throughout the day, and that they have options to attend at any given time block. So we have a lot of very practical, very specific sessions. So, for example, we have a session on SMS marketing, which, again, we all know. I know that I'm getting a ton of text messages with companies advertising to me now. So, I think that it's really forward thinking and also very timely that we learn about this. And we also have topics. A session even around diversity, equity, and anti racism this year. And I'm really excited because our community has really been craving to learn more about those topics and understanding kind of how they can start to implement different practices within their business. Um, yeah, again, we have, I really feel that this year we have one of the most dynamic lineups yet. And I just think it's really exciting to see so many new faces. We have a ton of new faces in our lineup this year, which is always really exciting. Um, and obviously, I'm super excited about your keynote because I just think that, again, the whole diversity in topics and the diversity in experiences, I just think you bring such unique experiences to the table. And I'm so excited, like, to hear what you're going to share with our community. I just get so excited. Sometimes I think that I'm so lucky that I get to play a role in who speaks at the conference because selfishly, I just love listening to you guys and to you all, and you're such a wealth of knowledge. So I'm just super excited.
Oh, I am so excited too. I'm so excited to listen to what everyone has to say. Like, I actually just feel lucky that I get to attend. I mean, let alone speaking like that. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous about that even, but I'm more excited just to hear what everyone has to say and to make new friends and connect on this level. With not only like-minded individuals, but people in the industry. I think it's always so
Yeah.
wonderful. So
Yeah.
let's talk about where can people find you and all about the conference and how can they purchase tickets?
Yeah. So we are on Instagram and on Twitter at It's Your Takeaway because it is your takeaway. It is your experience. And that's also what our URL is. So we're at itsyourtakeaway.com and folks can find all of the information about the conference, all of the speaker lineup, all of the sessions, and of course to get their tickets there as well.
Awesome. And so, what are the dates again? And just any other info that people might want to know?
Yeah, so we are going to be kicking things off next Thursday on March 10th, and the conference will be on March 10th and 11th. We run again during the day. We've learned that with the virtual events that we try to keep the days full and energized, but also a little bit shorter than what a normal day in a typical physical conference would be. So yeah, all of the information is there and available. Registration will close on March 9th, the day before. So if we'd love to have everybody, and again, just I one of the best pieces of feedback that I ever got in one of our post conference surveys was when somebody said that I was so nervous and I was coming by myself and I didn't know anybody when I was going to show up, and I was like so surprised somebody invited me to sit at their table with them, to have coffee with them and to have
Oh,
lunch with them, and immediately was able to connect with folks within the community. And that's definitely been maintained in the virtual environment. And so we just again, we love our community so much, and we are just so grateful for them and for the experiences that they bring to the table. And if you are planning to attend Takeaway, you will definitely notice that there is a ton of discussion throughout the day with everybody. This, like I mentioned, the speakers are just so open, and the community is so excited to jump in and to share their perspective and to ask questions. And it's really special, and something that, again, it's a ton of fun. Also, it's just really a ton of fun. So
That's so cool. I cannot wait. So, everyone who's listening, make
yes.
sure to go to itsyourtakeaway.com, get a ticket, whether you're coming alone or if you know others in the industry. I know that this is just going to be so much fun, and I really cannot wait. Morgan, thank you for taking the time to talk with me, and also for even reaching out and letting me be a speaker at this. I can't wait.
I can't wait as well.
Yay! All right. Um, on that note, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Social Media Influencer. Again, I'm Dakota Jean, here with Morgan of Takeaway Conference, and we'll see you